Hey world, this is Nerdiac headquarters, Ryan's Comics in Marietta, California. This is our launch of our Nerdiac brand, label, culture. This is what we're going to be doing for the near to distant future. My name is Adrian Murphy. I'm a U.S. Navy retired veteran, 40 years old, but I'm a nerd at heart. So I got through life being a nerd mainly through comics, reading comics, adapting comic culture into my life, and then applying what I learned in comics to fit whatever scenario or equation that I need to figure out. But Ryan is right here. It's my dog.
Hey guys.
Come on.
Well, if you guys are a customer already, thank you. If not, ryans.comics.com. My name is Ryan. We're going to be coming and bringing as much content as we can for you and give you realistic point of views and not try to sway towards the common media like everyone else does, and try to give you that unique perspective that you get when you do come in the store. And we felt like this is the best way to come at you instead of doing videos all the time. So, and we also have Mr. Theo Brown. He's with us too. He's a filmmaker, and he's a nerd in his own right. And how you doing, Theo?
Gentlemen, it's my pleasure and honor to be sharing. Okay, I'm just going to stop all that talk right now. What you're going to be finding out from us as you listen to this more and more is that we're all real close. I don't know why everybody's trying to be all cool and suave, because I'm sure not. So they're going to have to make up for it for me. A little bit about me. I guess they want me to introduce myself to you all.
He's cool and suave.
I'm a filmmaker.
He's cool and suave.
If you guys watch Ryan's Comics videos on YouTube, that's usually me behind it. You know, I met Ryan last year. Just moved out here last year. Trying to do the LA dream type thing like that. Hooked up with Ryan. Obviously, he likes comics. I love comics. Grew up on Spider-Man and stuff like that. So that's how I got involved with the Nerdiacs. You know, it's a great team. And because they're all looking at me, I'm currently working on a short film for Zatanna. So I'm sure.
Did he mention Zatanna? He did. I'm sorry, I had to cut. But
Yeah, let's just start talking about that first.
yeah.
Let's talk about Zatanna real quick.
You want to talk about Zatanna?
Man, I want to talk about Zatanna. Zatanna is our first project together. It's our initial solid production that we could say is going to be Nerdiac. And we're putting effort into it. We're putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and personal fortunes.
So Theo, give us an update on what we've been doing here as far as the progress we've been making.
An update is that every night I'm getting my hype calls from Adrian, just patting me on the back, telling me how excited he is, and if I don't deliver this product, he's going to make me eat my kneecaps. I believe that was verbatim what he told me.
I never threatened you.
On Mike, he never threatened me. No. Zatanna's going good. We're in our.
I'm like Suge Knight of the nerd culture.
Zatanna's going good. We're in our casting phase right now. Just been pouring through, all these great submissions, stuff like that. Getting ready to go on auditions in a couple of weeks.
How many people do we get?
I think we've got about like 200 or something like that for Zatanna, and then a couple hundred for the other characters, and we got about 400 overall and stuff like that. So it's looking very solid. We've got a lot of solid talent out here in California. So I'm super excited every day just to go back home and work on that. So it's coming along great. I can't wait to tell you guys more and more about it later on. We're gonna have a YouTube page going up in a couple of weeks, as well as a Facebook page. So later on, you'll probably hear me plugging that in the next following episodes.
Can you just give just a little bit more expectation of like when we can expect to see Zatanna and finished product, and how you envision bringing Zatanna to everybody?
Yeah, well,
because this is very important for you, so it's important for me, and it's important for Ryan.
Yeah, well,
'Cause we are nerdiacs, right? I mean, I'm a nerdiac. Are you a nerdiac?
I believe so.
Are you a nerdiac?
I'm a nerdiac.
That's what my tattoo says that you guys forced me to get earlier today.
It's
So,
on. It's
would've came
divided.
out-
It's divided between two cheeks.
Not quite. I don't remember seeing that one.
Oh no, that's. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ryan passed out during the tattooing.
Yeah.
Well, Zatanna is a short film. I don't know if that was said before. Zatanna is a short film, and we're looking to have it come out. It'll be released online in this coming spring. So we're very excited about that and stuff like that. So we're kind of just going through pre-production stuff right now, and what that is obviously, like I said, working with finding actors. We're gonna have some cool visual effects stuff in there. So working to get like local artists, maybe for like some of our Kickstarter perks as well. We have some cool alternate posters, a lot of fun stuff that's going to be happening. And when it drops, I'm sure you guys are all going to know about it.
Man, I'm so excited about this. I mean, just the whole process of it. It's awesome. It's I've been going through reels and just face shots and just seeing just everybody who is so excited about this, and it just hypes me up to no end. And I am so proud of you, and I'm so proud of
Thank
Ryan
you.
because this is real people putting their comic book energy, because we're all comic book guys, right? I mean, we're real comic book men, I guess. We're real comic book men.
I'm going to talk about that soon.
Yeah.
And,
So
moving on. With that note, moving on, because I did want to talk about
Yes.
comic men. We're going to translate a little segment we had in our video portion called
Good, bad, and ugly.
My favorite part of the videos, actually.
yes.
you know, right now my good of the industry definitely has to be Doctor Who. The 50th anniversary is coming up. Everyone's really excited. We're throwing a party here. It's gonna be really fun. Free food, drinks, music, all that good stuff. So looking forward to that. Doctor Who, as far as a staple in British pop culture, and now seeing it come over to America, and you see the popularity grow. You see that sci-fi is not just for nerds; it's actually translating to everyone.
It's very mainstream.
Very mainstream, and the level of
Doctor Who is big.
Yes, the level of campiness in the show, it was really surprising to me that it does translate over into this, because we have such high expectations most of the time with our media. The Shield show right now, Shield's getting dissected left and right.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like it's a great show just because we even get to see these guys on screen in the first place. But
People just gotta let it go, man. Just like, don't overanalyze it. Let it be what it is, and then it could develop into something,
And I think Doctor Who is a great example of this type of media crossing over to mainstream and it being able to last. And people say that this market's dead, and when they don't realize that it's not, and stuff like this, movie theaters renting out, screens out in America just to play a British show, shows you how big something can get just from people like it. And it's been around 50 years, obviously, so it's had some time to gain some traction. But even the early episodes were nothing to brag about, and I'm really impressed with the whole franchise and series. And so that's my good. What do you think's good in the industry right now, Adrian?
Well, can we expound on your Doctor Who? Good.
Yeah.
Well, because I kind of want to talk about, how I think Doctor Who is good.
You guys
because
are Doctor Who
think it's
guys.
good. Well, my history with Doctor Who really comes from when I was a little boy. We only got public television, and Doctor Who was a public television access show. So we didn't have 150 channels like we have now. We only had the basic network channels, and we only had a little black and white television, and I think it was like 8 inches. And we got Channel 11.
prime time.
I think it was Channel 11 in Chicago, and Doctor Who was our staple. But I didn't follow it after that. Now, my sister, Deanna, she is a Doctor Who fan. Like, she thinks she is Doctor Who. If there was the first...
She's a true Whovian.
Man, if there was the first African-American female Doctor Who slept in a TARDIS, it would be my sister. She'd do some stuff like that. So, Deanna Murphy, I'm gonna give you your shout out on that. So,
Just put it
that's
all
my
on
Doctor Who
blast.
history. So, am I good?
You're good.
Okay. My good is. What did I put? Oh, Captain America, Winter Soldier, the trailer. Okay.
It's done. Let's go home.
Wait. I saw it at the release of Thor. So they had an extended trailer. They haven't played it since. Because I've seen... we're gonna talk about Thor later, but I've seen Thor 3 times already because I gotta take everybody to see it. Plus, I gotta give my money to the culture. But
You're such a nerd.
I know, dude. This whole thing is. I'm still alive though. But let's go. The Captain America Winter Soldier trailer was awesome. I mean, there was so much in that trailer that I can directly relate to from reading modern issue comics. Like if you're interested in collecting comics and finding out a lot about the Winter Soldier, those are modern issue comics and they're still available. You can get them at Ryan's Comics, I think, right? You have,
Yes.
Yeah. Refresh me on the artist, the writer of Winter Soldier. It's
What in the trailer highlighted for you? Like, what was the main thing that jumped out at you?
Man, it was just Captain America's. He's something. He's a superhero that can actually be. You know what I mean? Like you have some superheroes that are out of reach.
He's close to reality. Like you're only like a step away.
Man,
or step or
science
two
fiction
away.
is science fact. I kind of like that whole theory, but Captain America is something that we could really be. So just to see him do that, and if you haven't seen the trailer, it's just awesome. And if you didn't see the extended scene at the release of Thor, you missed a real treat. But it showed just Captain America just like killing it, like, I mean, tell it, Theo.
No, he definitely went beast mode. I mean, when I first saw it, if you have not seen that trailer, get out of the rock that you're under. I mean, like you owe it to yourself. I mean,
I almost thought it was better than Thor, to be honest.
We're definitely in the golden age of movies, which you'll probably hear me say a lot because I truly believe it. Of comic book movies, at least. So
it was a Nerdiac trailer.
It was
crazy,
bananas. So it's funny talking about Captain America because now let's talk about My Good, which is the Marvel Netflix 1-2 punch that they just announced coming out. If you haven't heard about this, Marvel is going to be teamed up with Netflix to bring 4 original shows with 13 episodes each. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage. Super hyped about that Luke Cage personally. The really thing that I'm really interested to see about this show is because the movies have showed us, like these big scale events, like we've seen like Iron Man and his origins and so on and so forth, Captain America, Hulk, the Avengers, especially the Avengers, like almost the accumulation of this big scale event happened in New York. What these shows are going to do is let us explore like these personal stories, that's going on in Hell's Kitchen. It's a different type of storytelling when you talk about movies versus television. A movie, you only have 2 hours to tell a story from beginning to end. But with TV, you can begin to craft these different characters over the course of 13 episodes. So I like to think of it as intimate versus loud. I think these shows are going to be showing us much more intimate views on these heroes versus the movies, which are these loud views.
Have you thought about what Jessica Jones series could be about? Do you think it would be a lot of her espionage type things, or do you think it would be more or less just her being a superhero?
I want to say espionage, and this is why. Because I look at these TV shows, and I feel like they each have like their own type of genre. And granted, I don't know what Marvel's having planned. Right. But like, let's say Daredevil was like a Matthew Murdock Law and Order type show.
So a Marvel Law and Order.
Exactly. Like it could be something along those lines. I mean, 13 episodes.
If I could just, foresee some things, you got to understand that, that's a Marvel Knights lineup. That's a Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Luke Cage. And you guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but Marvel Studios has the right to Frank Castle the Punisher. So if you guys, these characters right here, these fall along the line of Captain America. These are characters. Now, I'm not saying go dress up as Daredevil, but these are characters that we could actually achieve as human beings, through good health and whatever. So this whole Marvel Knights thing is a big deal because once they throw Frank Castle into this whole mix, and if this Netflix thing takes off, and of course it's going to have to somehow continue into the movies. So, man, it's a big thing.
What I think would be just interesting is it will be so great. I mean, we already see Marvel, like they've literally, they own the market on Easter eggs and cameos and stuff like that. But it will be great to see characters, when they start getting to phase 3, characters from these TV shows appearing in the movies. Maybe not as a big part, but doing something that plays along with the character, what they're doing on the show and in the movie. I haven't seen the new Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode yet, but I hear it ties into Thor 2. And what these shows can do...
on tonight.
Oh, it comes on tonight.
Yeah.
So, like, what these shows can do is we can literally see a lot of cross-pollination with this stuff. Because, I mean, this is Netflix. They have bank. Like, these aren't your average TV shows.
Excuse me, what does cross-pollination mean?
Well, when I say cross-pollination, I mean, like, if... I don't know, Tony Stark needs a lawyer in Avengers 3 or something like that, and Matt Murdock shows up.
I know what they mean, but
Yeah.
hey, we're Nerdiacs, so we got to explain that. It's all about the real scientific fact of it.
And then, but all films and all this stuff might not all be good. And one of the big things that people have been talking about that might not be good is the new X-Men movie. We just, this is part of my bad part, and the bad thing I think is, we were talking about Days of Future Past doing reshoots on some of their scenes. And for me, when I'm looking at a reshoot, I'm looking at, you guys don't like what you did the first time, and this is going to mess up the flow of the original content. Because when you have to go back and change the middle of something, the original way the ending was written was for that middle part. And now we're going to change the middle, and now the whole movie's going to be affected. And I really noticed that in World War Z. They did late reshoots in World War Z, and for me, I liked the movie as a whole. I know some people didn't, but I liked the entertainment aspect of it.
I agree.
I felt like
disagree.
There was some missing parts to that, and there was definitely some holes in the movie, and even the ending felt like it shouldn't have been the ending. And as far as reshoots go, I don't really think that this is something that it needs on top of all the other scrutiny it's been getting. So
You don't want to hear that.
I don't want to hear that on top of everything else. And for me, the biggest thing people have been complaining about is the amount of X-Men in the series. And for me, I feel like that's never a negative. I feel like it's called X-Men.
Yeah.
So I want every X-Men ever to ever be.
And they're going to hold up that end of the bargain.
Yes. And I'm glad they are. Yeah. People are, talking bad about the script or whatever. And I'm like, if you guys don't know the comic yet, then of course you're not going to really appreciate, what they're trying to do on screen. Don't question a story you don't know anything about. Like, let's just embrace it, see what's going to happen. But with these reshoots, I'm a little bit more skeptical. So,
nostalgia-wise, I like, the X-Men Days of Future Past, because it's still a continuation semi of the original X-Men one. But I don't really have a lot of expectations because I just don't trust anything that isn't Marvel Studios anymore, honestly. I mean, I know Sony is kind of trying to cozy up with... I kind of get that feeling that Sony really kind of wants to have a nice little business relationship with Disney.
And it's Fox who's doing...
And Fox
X-Men.
owns X-Men, so that's just how I feel. Do you have anything to say about the Days of Future Past? I mean, it's a good trailer.
Sure. Well, I'll say this real quick before we get to Adrian's bad. It's funny you said that about not trusting Marvel, and I've not trusting anything that's not Marvel, and I hear people say that a lot. But I also want to bring the point that I think people have got comfortable, like we're in a great saturation right now when it comes to comic movies. But Bryan Singer, he's one of the first people who was like, hey, let's give these guys a shot and stuff like that. And as much as the flack that Superman Returns get, I am a Superman Returns apologist. I know that a lot of people
like that movie.
give
I
me
like that
give me
movie
dirty
too,
looks.
honestly.
Thank you.
I really do.
It's if you look at it for what it is, like Richard Donner's sequel to the movies.
It's okay.
It makes sense that way. But what I'm just trying to say is that I trust this guy. He's shown me that like he knows how to handle X-Men, and I have no reason not to doubt him. Now, if they say they're bringing back in Brett Ratner, that's when I start having problems.
I liked Brett Ratner. I liked Last Stand. But, okay, my bad is, I hate to say it, and it's just for me right now, it's the Walking Dead television show. I mean, it's kind of like a repeat of season 2 for me right now. I mean, it is a decent show if you watch it 2 or 3 times, and I don't know how that's I don't. It's a good show. It is a good show. And after I kind of briefly watched the latest episode, I think it was called
Intimate or something like that.
but it was about the governor, and it's a different take on the governor than what people like us who have read the comic book know about the governor. And it almost seemed like to me like they were trying to make him a good guy, which if you read the side novelizations like The Rise of the Governor and by Kirkman, they kind of give a more exponential explanation of the governor's mentality. And that episode that happened last night seemed to be along those lines, but it wasn't more of a prequel. It was more of like in the continuity of the television series. Mm-hmm. So it was good, but
overall, you're not feeling it.
Man, season 3 though, like season 3 of Walking Dead, it made me cry. That was the first time I cried. I cried at a
baby.
Dude.
You should see this guy, by the way. He's the buffest of all of us.
Wait. Carl, for me, is the best actor on the show. Carl, hands down,
I don't understand that. I do.
Carl, hands down, kills it.
Do not understand.
Listen, all right. Carl in the comic books, he's a bad guy. I mean, he's just bad ASS. I hate to spell it, but there we go. He's like that. That Carl reminds me of the comic book.
Gotcha.
He's the only one that reminds me of the comic book.
I got you.
And he's good on the show. So, Carl, but season 3 was way better right now. Go ahead.
I got you. Well, I'm gonna change it up a little bit from Walking Dead. Even though I'm gonna touch back on that later on. My bad actually is the broken PS4 consoles at the launch. First of all, I'm not trying to say that the PS4s are bad. I mean, I'm as excited as anyone. Got a chance to check out my man Ryan's the other day. He was kind enough to invite me to his abode to show me how much better he is at me than life.
An invitation to go. Like you only see Ryan at Ryan's Comics, but like, when you go to his apartment, dude, it's like, oh man.
It was a flattery.
Have a seat, Adrian.
Wait, take off your shoes first.
I know it's quite comfortable. I know.
But in case you weren't aware, like Foxconn, that's a Chinese manufacturing plant that does lots of electronics, not just Sony. I mean, we're talking about Apple, everything. Nintendo,
it's
just
like a
tons
city.
of stuff.
Foxconn is like a city.
Some of their employees were working under some not so desirable circumstances, and I should state there is no official evidence from what I've seen, save for a forum post. But it seems that some of the employees took out their disapproval with Foxconn on some of the PS4s. I think IGN had a bricked console. Kotaku, the gaming website, they had some ports that weren't working. I think their HDMI port or something didn't work at first. So overall, this didn't affect a wide group of people.
Do you think there could be a conspiracy of Microsoft saying, "Hey, we'll pay you guys a little extra back"?
Do you have a PS4?
To report bad things?
Do you have a PS4?
I do not. I am not getting a PS4 until Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out.
You have 2 PS4s, don't you?
I'm just gonna say that.
So what is
enjoy
your
my gaming.
you enjoy your gaming? What is your thoughts on?
I'm actually gonna go over it in a second. I just wanted to hear Theo's thoughts so I can destroy all of them.
I don't think it was a smear campaign. I don't think it was anything like that. Again, I'm gonna be honest, I know nothing about like how the manufacturing things. So like if there is truth to this rumor, I could kind of see that a possibility. But I also feel like there are certain levels and precautions in place to be sure that disgruntled employees do not have an effect on the bottom line like this.
So this is more of a philanthropical. How would you say?
That's not a word.
No, I know it's not.
It should be.
Philanthropy.
This is philanthropy, but this is more of a philanthropy perspective of it because you're looking at like the employees over at Foxconn and not the gameplay itself. Because,
Again,
because you don't have one.
This has nothing. I'm poor. There's nothing funny about that.
Ryan's got 2. You have none, and you're complaining about the launch and the broken consoles. You don't even own one.
That's true, but let's
very good-
let's
yeah,
be
that's
honest
a good
though.
point.
If Ryan had got a PS4 and was like, hey guys, I'm so excited, and then got it, and it's like, yo, my HDMI port is not working, this would be a different conversation altogether. And my last actually line about this was that, like, hey, overall, it didn't affect a wide group of people. It didn't. But if you were one of the people who waited in line to get the PS4 and then got one that was bricked or didn't work or something like that, you're going to be having a bad time.
I would hate Sony so much.
You would hate Sony so much.
And then you would buy their product.
You would.
Well, you say that, but I'm sure I know some people who got the red ring of death on the Xbox, stuff like that, and swore off Microsoft.
That's true.
So
That's very true.
If I can interject just one, I've had the red ring of death on my original Xbox like 2 times, and I just turned it off, and then after a couple of months turned it back on, it played perfectly. 2 times. The original Xbox, because I got the Xbox 360 when it first came out.
So Adrian will get a PS4, turn on it bricks. He'll turn back on in June next year.
Sometimes I just touch things and it comes to life.
Okay.
All right, Chuck Norris.
All right. Well,
Ryan, what's your ugly man?
you know, the ugly for me is comic book men, and here's my reason. I'm not trying to ever compare anyone to Kevin Smith and his success in the industry or whatever. But I feel like when you start putting words like comic book men in a show, you're gonna have a lot to back that up with. And one, like, yes, Kevin Smith does write comics, and that's good. Personally, I'm not a fan of his comics. Like, Winding Gyre was okay. Like, even the plot wasn't. It was like, oh my gosh, I didn't see this coming. It was just like, oh, another boring backstory that doesn't matter.
I'm sorry,
Kevin Smith. But you know, it's not. I'm not a Kevin Smith hater at all. I just don't like the way the show's representing the culture. One, this show has 4 guys on it, and 2 of them don't know anything about comics. And if 50% of your cast doesn't know what the name of the title in the show is, how could you call yourself a comic book man?
It's a bit misleading, it sounds.
Really, you know what I'm saying? One of the guys doesn't even work there. So, yeah, he's a comic book man. He always says he doesn't like the stuff. And I just feel like that represents what we're doing in stores across America the wrong way, because there's a lot of guys out there that live and breathe this stuff and really take it serious, like myself.
Woof.
And we really try to, promote the culture.
That microphone just blew up right there.
So, as far as comic book men goes, I say it's ugly because they're not showing it off the right way. Comic shops it's not Pawn Stars. Don't come in here and try to haggle when you don't have anything.
Church.
You have Google. We all have it. If you don't have internet at home, the library has it for free. If you want to sell something and you want some money from somebody, do your research. Because when I open my store, I'm gonna know what I'm selling just like anyone else. So it's just a common sense thing. Like, hey, this is how you do it. But when they do it in comic book men, they don't represent it that way. They always do scripted conversations, and it's like, don't go into your local comic shop and disrespect those guys like that. Go in there like something and you have something of value, and that's why you're selling in the first place. And they, like I said, they don't represent it that way. And even in their lack of stock in the stores is almost disgusting. Like, how are you a successful store and you have nothing on the shelves? Yet you're gonna say you're representing as being a comic shop of the nation. You're the nerd of the nation. Like, if I had studio money like Kevin Smith, oh my goodness,
Listen,
there would be water slides in here. And the water would be comic books.
I'm gonna come in on
The science is sound.
Because I agree with you wholehearted on the comic book men television series. Now, I have read some of Kevin Smith's earlier Marvel works, like the Daredevil run and the Green Arrow run, Quiver. Kevin Smith was putting out some good stuff. But Kevin Smith, you have put that one. You started a Daredevil Bullseye series right around when Ben Affleck was Daredevil, and you never finished it, and it started out really good, but you never finished it. So I am not gonna say that you haven't put out any good work, but Comic Book Men is very, very ugly. And I don't know if Bruce Willis during Cop Out took your manhood, because you actually admit that he took your manhood during Cop Out. I saw the documentary. I don't know if Bruce Willis took your manhood, but dude, you used to put out some very, very good movies. And I saw that Zack Snyder interview where you really did a good job. You killed the Zack Snyder.
Is this a monologue to
I'm
Kevin
sorry.
Smith right
No,
now?
I just kind of. I'm sorry.
Apparently,
I don't
But
think
Kevin
he's
Smith-
listening to this right
But
now.
listen,
So-
if you do hear it, listen. You want Kevin Smith to listen to this?
No,
Kevin
I
Smith,
don't.
respond.
No.
Okay, listen. All right.
I don't mind you, Kevin Smith, so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Kevin Smith is not that bad guy. All right. I just kind of wanted to separate myself from that in case you ever need me, Kevin Smith.
Go ahead.
All right. So my ugly is I'm reading comics. I read about 60, 70 issues or titles a month. Infinity. Dude. Marvel, Infinity. It's I don't know what's going on.
Why is it bad? Why is it? Tell me.
It's so everywhere. I mean, I don't know who the bad guy is. You got Thanos, you had the Builders, and nobody understands anything about the Builders. I mean, maybe 20 years from now, somebody will, but right now, nobody understands.
You don't have confidence in Hickman bringing it together?
Oh, man. I like the new Avengers aspect of it. The new Avengers comic, you can get it at Ryan's Comics. That aspect of it is good. That part of the Infinity. I didn't like anything, but the Thanos part of it is kind of interesting. The Thanos part with the Inhumans, and I know that that part is interesting. I just think that when you tried to put the Builders and Thanos together and have them both be like the main villains, it kind of threw me off. Marvel, in all actuality, the last good run you had on like an event comic series to me was Dark Reign Siege. That was epic. That was epic for me. But Infinity, you guys lost me. DC's killing you right now with Forever Evil, and I'm just gonna say that. And I'm not a DC guy, I'm a Marvel guy, but DC is killing you with Forever Evil. Just concept, new innovative way of bringing out superheroes. Like Superman and Batman are like the man right now. Go ahead, Theo.
Well, my ugly. First of all, before I jump to my ugly, I just want to also point out that Adrian here likes Superior Spider-Man. So if you're a Superior Spider-Man fan, you may agree with him, but I'm not. So I don't know if I can believe anything just said about Infinity.
Oh my God.
My ugly is actually the latest Walking Dead episode. I've actually been really enjoying this season. I've been loving this season, actually, like really, really, really loving it. So when it got to this last episode, I believe as they were talking about earlier, they reintroduced the governor. They show his journey after the events of season 3. This episode was like season 2 levels of boring. I mean, you talking about Walking Dead? This dude literally walked around and mumbled. Like even zombies couldn't be bothered to mess around with him. Like they couldn't tell the difference. I could barely tell the difference between what was going on. Scott Gimple, he's the showrunner this season. I mean, like I said, I love this season. I love it at all. So it's really only a matter of time, I guess, before there was a dud in the season. And I'm just hoping that last week's was the only one. I'm really excited for next week's. But yeah, that last week for me was just straight up Walker ugly.
All right, so we went through our good and bad, the ugly. Took a little longer than we thought, but we got some good stuff. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. We have Miss Charlotte Parker with us right now, and I want to take a second and talk about Miss Parker. She is a new associate here with us at Ryan's Comics. She's been a very good asset to our company, and she has a lot going on for herself. And I thought she'd be the appropriate guest for the first show because of her drive and devotion to the culture. And the one thing that I like about Charlotte the most is that her feelings can actually get hurt by something going on in the industry. And for me, I feel like if you're a nerd, that's an actual sign of being a nerd, is that, I'm a sports fan too. The Lakers losing the championship, I feel hurt inside. My stomach is all turning inside. If they cast the wrong guy for Nightwing, Charlotte is flipping tables over here.
I'm bringing out tables just to flip them.
That's a good excuse, though. If you saw who they were trying to pick.
Oh, you bet I did.
So Charlotte, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Charlotte Parker, also known as Miss Char in the cosplay world. I cosplay.
What kind of cosplay do you do?
All kinds. I dabble in comic books, gaming, crossplay, which, if you don't know the term, it's the gender dressing up as the opposite gender.
Right.
So my favorite to cosplay is anime characters, just because they're so colorful and vast, and you can just have a lot of fun with it as far as like materials and everything go. what other characters can you just rock a bright blue wig and like, not
You
to
can
make fun of-
cosplay as Theo,
I could cosplay as Theo.
and you can rock that wig.
I could.
Hey, I just want to add that like
Short buzz cut.
Charlotte
Shave
is
my head.
dope. Charlotte is dope. She's like she can fit any like nerdiac culture genre. Like
She's okay.
Oh,
Man,
thanks.
she's like a blank canvas. I've heard somebody else say that before. Somebody else said it, but he probably never said it to her.
He just called you tofu.
I like tofu. You can do so much with tofu.
No, all you gotta do is just like if you just add like soy sauce to Charlotte. She's,
Charlotte, so what? Where can people find your cosplay stuff at?
Well, right now I actually have a facebook.com/Miss Char. Right now it's still a work in progress. Just my friends are fans of it, and I post fun things about my daily life and everything, and work in progress as far as what costumes I'm making at the moment, and I'll sometimes post photos of like my adventures at like conventions or Frankensons and all that, and I also co-founded and manage a website called ogiku.com.
Ogiku.
Yes.
Tell us about Ogiku. The one thing that I don't like about websites is when you go on there and there's no content, or the content's bad, and the guys running the show, you're like, who are these guys? These guys have they don't know what they're talking about. They even post videos and you're like, have you never left your room, sir?
Do you flip tables when that happens?
I don't quite flip tables, but I'm definitely upset because like I said, it's the bad representation of a culture. Yeah. And the reason why that I like Charlotte's website so much, ogiku.com, is because I feel like we're getting the right stuff. We're getting good content, the stuff that I actually care about. There's stuff on there. It's like, okay, I didn't even know that I like this, but now that I see it, I like it.
What? Well, first off, I just want to go behind the name Ogiku because other people are like, Ogiku? Like,
How do you spell that?
Ogeeku. And it is actually a combination of otaku, which is essentially someone who's obsessed with something in the nerd culture.
like a nerdiac.
Like a nerdiac. Only otaku is obviously the Japanese word. And then geek is the American side. So ogiku, we combine the two because we handle and manage in not only American nerd culture, but Japanese nerd culture because...
That's cool.
In my personal opinion, I still think it's untapped in a sense because there are a lot of anime, manga, K-pop, J-pop fans in America, but
What's a K-pop, J-pop?
Korean, Japanese, they just shorten it. So you've got like your J-rock, K-rock, K-pop,
Okay,
et cetera, et
cool.
cetera. So what I really love about my site is we're very community driven. Our fans, our community, they help run this stuff. And they write for us. They help manage our Facebook. They give us advice on what we should do better. My partner John Brentz and I, we co-founded this at Anime Expo about 2 years ago, and we even will just randomly go online live, face to face, and just talk. Hey guys, what do you want us to do? What do you like? What we're doing? What can we change?
So what kind of fans are they? Like when you go to these anime expos and stuff, I've never been to one myself.
I haven't either. I go to Comic-Con and it's kind of it's the same. It's
Honestly,
all there's a section of anime at all the Comic-Cons.
Comic conventions and anime conventions are completely different in a certain sense because when you go to a comic convention, like I've been to pretty much all the Southern California conventions at least once, and when I go to certain comic conventions, I feel that it's like a competition, like as far as cosplay goes, who can just stand in the hall the longest for 8 hours just to like show off their costume, and be completely uncomfortable. You go to an anime convention and everyone is just running around and it's like them already, and you just want to have fun with them and
cool.
hang out.
So do you
It's
feel
super
like
cool.
the level of nerdiness when it comes to that, there's more of a connection, like,
I feel there's more of like a personal connection when you go to like an anime convention because it's not as vast as you go to like a comic convention because comic conventions are movies, television shows, books, comics, games,
A lot of different mediums.
everything. It's more of like media conventions.
What kind of anime do you watch? What kind of...
I like a lot of. I don't like to say adult themed because then people will start thinking of
Well, that's what most of them are,
adult-themed.
right?
Yeah, there are
Yeah,
a lot of adult things in
them.
anime.
I like. Well, I'll take like shows that I'm really liking right now is an anime called Kill la Kill. It's just started about a month ago. It's essentially anime on crack. It's fighting, it's magical girl, it's hot teachers, it's crazy.
Well, so for those people that don't watch your anime as much, what are kind of some of the extremes that we'll see when we watch this?
A lot of exaggerations, and this is not all anime, but the majority. You're seeing a lot of exaggerations. You're seeing a lot of overly expressed emotions. You'll also see a lot of really weird cultural differences that a lot of Americans may not get.
So if you're not really into comics, even if you are American, you may see some appeal to anime a little bit more because it's animation to more of an extreme.
Definitely, and there are animes out there like arguably considered the most popular and the best anime out there is Cowboy Bebop. I'm sure everybody's heard of that, and if they haven't, you should watch it. This is an anime that is definitely on a serious tone. There's no over exaggerations. There's no like what they call chibi, which is the cutesy little figures that'll show up now and then in the show, and it's a very serious anime. And I think that if anyone's gonna start, they should start with that one, and maybe a lot of like really fun 90s anime, because that's what I grew up on.
So let's talk about your website a little bit more. What kind of stuff can we find on there as far as like content? Like, what would be your specialty? So if I'm going on the site, what am I looking for first?
Well, we have a homepage that we post daily articles, and it could be anything, including videos and what we think about them, maybe opinion pieces, just anything. We're not so much of a news site because, let's face it, there's already a ton of news sites out there.
Right.
So our biggest draw is, opinions and, articles that we want people to comment on and argue with us. Like, okay, I feel this. Okay, well, I don't agree with you. We want people to communicate with us.
And that, and that's kind of the brand we're trying to build is Nerdiac.
Yeah.
And the more educated side of this culture, because I feel like a lot of the guys that are talking about it now, they're not looking into it as far as a real fan person who has a perspective. And then, there's a difference between a fanboy and a fan who's working in the industry. And when I talk to guys that, work for different publishers, and I go to all these crazy meetings and talk to all these guys, the biggest thing that I find is that these guys have a great perspective on the industry. And not only because they're in it, but they're working for it too. I mean, they're in it, but they're also a huge fan. So they can keep it in perspective, which is good. So
I had a question for Charlotte. And this has nothing to do.
I want to hear
Blushing.
that. I know.
I've never seen a dark man blush so hard.
No.
And
not
this
that
has and this we're literally all the same color. We're literally all.
You're butterscotch.
You don't have to
Butterscotch.
lick your lips while you say that.
Butterscotch.
My question for Charlotte is something that has nothing to do with her website,
Cool.
but it has to do with a game that we both really, really enjoy, which is Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, yes.
And my question
question.
is, Charlotte, which character would you like to team up with in this new Kingdom Hearts thing? I mean, obviously with the acquisition and stuff like that, owning Marvel and stuff like that. Like, if you can get like...
Wait, before you guys get into this, I think we have to clue everyone in onto how big of a fans Charlotte is of Kingdom Hearts along with Theo. Since I met Theo,
You guys have to know what Kingdom Hearts is too.
he had a personal thing to make sure I knew what it was. He said, "I will buy you the game so you can enjoy it."
It needs to happen.
And when someone tells me that, I automatically think like, "Hey, this is gonna be
Has
something."
he busted the game yet?
No, not yet.
Oh my God. Dude.
I have a PS4.
He has a PS4.
Oh, you have a PS4.
Two.
You have two PS4s. You play Kingdom Hearts on which console?
I still played on my PS2.
Oh.
And 1.5 on the PS3.
I hope
My
that came.
PS2 broke. I can't do that anymore.
I hope me and Ryan's expression just came through on that microphone when you said PS2.
I love it. What's interesting though is it's interesting that you brought that up because on Ogiku we actually do live gaming casts, and I'm actually playing Kingdom Hearts right now on Mondays. So we actually are. I am doing a playthrough of it.
Cancel my plans on Monday.
Theo promised Ryan to buy him the game, so he probably won't join your live broadcast. I'm just saying he's not reliable on Kingdom Hearts.
So
So far.
what was your question as far as like you said a team up? Now, are you talking like what do I want to see in the future of the game itself or existing characters?
I mean, what you want to see in the future of the game itself, but obviously we don't know the worlds that are going to be released. So
Right.
like, and obviously everybody probably has like I don't use Donald. Like Donald is trash to me.
the duck.
No, but
The duck
Goofy,
dies
Goofy
all
on
the
the other
time.
hand, always comes through in the clutch.
Always.
So he's always.
So wait,
Explain the format.
Kingdom Hearts is the game where all the characters are part of the adventure,
I'm
right?
gonna give you a little bit of a
all
breakdown.
of the Disney characters, correct?
We're going to give you a little bit of a breakdown.
All right, I
You
just wanted
have-
to make sure because for people who don't understand what Kingdom
Right.
Hearts is.
You have a combination of Square Enix, who is the company behind Final Fantasy. It used to be
Yes.
called Square, Squaresoft, all that. And then Disney.
Okay, awesome.
You
awesome collaboration.
Yes.
Even back with the PS2.
It was. It's
don't know why
literally
you're
one of
laughing at that.
It is literally one of the biggest gaming
I
franchises
do not
in
know
the
why you're
world.
laughing.
I'm just laughing at your PS2. Go ahead.
So, you have your original characters, which are about like 3 to 5 original characters, including the main character, and then you team up with Donald and Goofy and Mickey on occasion to fight in Disney worlds.
That's awesome.
So you've got like a Nightmare Before Christmas world, Atlantica, which is Little Mermaid. The list goes on.
Now people really want to play Kingdom Hearts.
I want to play.
Now
It's-
I do.
You get to fight alongside Jack
That's awesome.
Skellington. Come on.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
awesome.
Or Jack Sparrow.
Or Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean
Thank
world.
you for explaining Kingdom Hearts. Thank you for bringing up Kingdom Hearts, Theo.
But it goes along with what you guys were discussing as far as like Marvel goes, because Disney did buy out Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a huge opportunity for.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, could you? Yeah, so.
Listen.
I want Spider-Man, Goofy, and Darth Vader
I
on
just
my
want
team.
15 seconds
Yes,
right,
right.
now. I just want Disney owning Marvel, Disney owning Star Wars, Disney having business everywhere. You guys just don't get it. Like this, what used to be like inconceivable with Disney. Like I believe that Marvel universe, Star Wars universe are all the same universe. I believe it because I used to read Star Wars on Marvel Comics back in the day. That's just what I'm saying. That's my Disney thing.
Well,
But go ahead.
I would have to say, like, as far as team up goes, like, obviously you're the main character who is the original character, Sora. I would really like to see maybe an X-Men or possibly just something fun. So I would maybe even Thor would be pretty cool.
Why not all of them?
What about all of them?
I would want to see Thor in that just because
Oh, his mystic.
just everything about him. I think he fit in best about that.
Could you say tank? Like, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just back here like launching magic,
Right.
and then Thor's just like wailing away. Like, come on.
Ryan, do you think Thor's handsome?
Yes.
I do.
You think
I'm not gonna lie. When he took a shower off in the first movie, I was looking at my girlfriend next to me. I was like, damn it.
you were feeling insecure?
I was like, I need to go to the gym. I need to start hitting them sit-ups.
Pretty sure everyone
Dude,
like
my-
that
my-
was in there.
My chick asked me, because we saw Thor and then I rented. I bought, not rented. I'm sorry, I don't rent movies that I love. I bought the DVD of Man of Steel, and she saw Henry Cavill when he came out of the water, and she's like, "Who's got a better body?" I said, "Thor," because his body looks way more natural than Henry Cavill's. Henry Cavill is Superman in Man of Steel. He is like embodiment of like what you would think like Superman would look like.
Yeah, I would be I wouldn't try to fight him first.
Like,
I
yeah.
wouldn't see that guy in real life and be like, yeah, I'm
but
gonna kick that guy's
Thor,
butt.
like Chris Hemsworth is Thor, like no homo, like for real, he does fit that like princely, godly. Like I know I sound gay right now, but there's nothing wrong
fine.
with that. There's
Ain't
nothing wrong with that.
that.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not. My girl knows that. She questions
get
it
it.
sometimes,
We get
but
it.
but listen, it is very fitting for that body type that Chris Hemsworth has compared to Man of Steel. God, I hope that for any girls that might be fans of mine on my Facebook page, I'm totally
You're fine. You're
heterosexual.
fine. So, anyways,
I just want to say
What did you-
something.
what
I
did
just
you
want to say
think about-
something really quick. All these guys were talking about when they watched Thor with their significant others. I was forever alone when I saw Thor and Thor 2.
What did you do?
Well, obviously I cried because I'll never be the man he is. But I just want to point that out there. Ryan,
so what did you think overall of the Thor movie. We're gonna start with Charlotte. What did you think about how they did everything? Like, for me, I like the costumes and, it made it more realistic for me. But what was some of the highlights for you when it came to Thor?
I just have to say, obviously the visuals were gorgeous, and I will admit, without spoiling anything, because I don't know if we can do spoilers on this cast or not, but I cried at a certain part, and
Definitely
I'm not
spoil away.
okay.
Yeah, for real. It's been out for 3
So
weeks.
stop listening if you haven't
Stop
seen it.
listening if you have. Okay,
weeks.
so
No, you shouldn't be listening if you haven't seen Thor.
exactly.
No, I want you to listen.
So there's a scene in there when the Dark Elves are attacking Asgard, and Frigga saves Natalie Portman, and she dies. Thor's mother, Odin's wife. And that's the scene where she's fighting Malachi. I think that's how you pronounce his name. You don't become the wife of Odin just by standing there and looking pretty. I'm just going to say that.
She proved it too.
Yes. And then the funeral scene with her and then all of the other Asgardians that lost their lives, it was done so beautifully. I'm not a crier, and I got tears down my eyes. I was like, this is amazing. It was beautiful. But I still think that Tom Hiddleston stole the show. Amazing actor.
He's just amazing.
He's amazing. And
Tom Hiddleston is
just constant on your toes, on your feet. I don't know if it was the director or anything, but I was like, what's going on here? Is this going to happen? Oh, is Loki really dead? What's going on? It's like...
Follow him on the internet. If you haven't looked at Tom
I do.
Hiddleston, I'm not talking. I'm just talking to everybody. I know you do, Charlotte, but I'm just saying. He is really, really a Nerdiac type personality. Like,
He's
he
a
embraces nerd culture.
He embraces
music,
his fans, and that's what I
everything.
love.
He is awesome. Like, he's just an awesome dude. Tom Hiddleston, like, shout out for real.
Shout out to Tom.
Yeah, that's
amazing,
really good.
Amazing actor, amazing person. But that would be my highlight, was that funeral scene, because anything that can make me sob, good in my book. And then, of course, Mr. Hiddleston's acting, amazing.
Yeah, the whole thing with Tom Hiddleston for me is, especially in this, the trilogy of Loki or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that I never thought he was going to be the main character. I never thought he was going to steal the show. When I first saw him, I wasn't convinced that he was Loki. I was seeing some random dude on screen with long hair, and I'm like, this isn't the god of mischief. This is a dude.
Yeah.
And over 3 movies, I felt like, okay,
He is Loki.
he's Loki,
Yes.
and no one else can do it besides him.
Yeah, I like him.
I just want to piggyback on what Ryan said. I remember reading a lot of interviews with the director, and one of the things he kept stating over and over again is that he wanted to bring back the god of mischief. That wasn't really seen so much in I say the first and second, in Thor and then the Avengers. That god of mischief wasn't there, but in Thor 2 it's very evident, and I really, really, really like that. Just almost we're seeing different sides of them.
He had it on at all times. He's always.
Yes,
Always.
a lot of the magic use.
You do
I love
not
it.
you do not know whenever to trust Loki, which I think was great.
I thought he was more of a sorcerer in this movie. I mean, as far as his illusions and his being able to do that. But I don't think he was the god of mischief at all. I think that they showed the true Asgardian warrior that Loki and Thor. I mean, if you know anything about comics, Loki growing up was Thor's like ace boon. That was like his dude. Like, they went on many adventures, and then as Loki got older, he saw Odin's more favor towards Thor. It's the classic Cain and Abel story, and if you know anything about mythology, it is a Cain and Abel story between Loki and Thor.
Well,
from that perspective, but he was more of the hero Loki. I mean, because you don't know where Loki's gonna go.
Which I think ties to the mischief.
At the end of the movie, where even after he's taken, because Odin was sick. If you paid attention to the movie, Odin was sick. He was always leaning over. Loki is probably protecting Odin because Odin was there. I mean, I saw the movie. I mean, you guys saw the movie, right? Odin was there. He communicated when Loki
I felt like in the movie, Odin was underpowered. He is the All Father.
That staff was sick though.
Staff was sick, but
I hate I hate that reliability on the weapons though.
But even Odin, he doesn't rely on his weapon for his power. He's the All Father. He can do whatever he wants. He was gonna kill every human being in fear itself on the planet. That's real power. Yet Loki was able to just walk up and use his little powers on him. I feel like Odin should have been able to look past that and really use his all-father power and not been tricked by his kid.
If I may interject,
who's not even a real Asgardian.
If I may interject, you guys noticed that Loki kept turning into the same warrior all the time. And that warrior, I don't know that actor, but I've seen him around in a couple of things. So he's kind of I've seen him in some other projects before, the warrior that Loki kept changing into during Thor. Well, the one brother that they have not mentioned in the Thor movies is Balder the Brave. And so I'm thinking that one character that Loki keeps transforming into may be the precursor to Balder the Brave, because they have not mentioned that, and he is prominent within the comic books, and I do not foresee them writing Balder the Brave out. And I'm just saying that as my speculation of where they might be going, and I'm pretty much like, my name is Adrian Murphy, but like, if Nerdiac's gonna keep going, I'm gonna go by many aliases. I'm a lot, and one of my other names is Prophet Alpha, so I predict that character.
What was that nickname?
Prophet Alpha.
Prophet
Alpha.
How does that even make sense?
Yes, it does.
He gave himself his nickname, so it doesn't
That's
matter.
Words. How do people give themselves their own nickname?
Why not?
The best nicknames are the ones that just show up, and he's giving himself his nickname.
I got a lot of aliases. How dare you?
I'm gonna be Balder from now on.
You're gonna be Balder the Brave? I'll give you a Balder.
Ryan, I have a question for you, man. You were saying that you didn't like that thing about like Odin and stuff like that. Was that your only critique with the movie? Only negative critique?
Pretty much. The only other thing, like, Natalie Portman had no purpose in the first movie for me, and I feel like they gave her a really good purpose in the new one. She really showed her science side and really showed how smart she was. I feel like in the first one they didn't really show her intelligence. They were kind of just like putting her in a scientist role, and it was just like she never said anything smart the whole movie. And so for me as a scientist, you're supposed to play that smart role. And Natalie Portman can pull off anything. I feel like
Oscar-winning actress.
I wanted to see her really embrace this role, especially as an easy role for what she's done in the past. You know, I saw flashes of Padme in the movie, obviously, because she was playing the weaker character who has to be strong. And when you're making those comparisons, you're just like, man, Disney's making a lot of money off of her.
One issue I had with the movie is, how could she breathe on the Dark World?
She was infected with the
ether. That's the excuse I keep hearing.
No, but she was a
first
goddess.
got there, though. When she first got there,
and then when they pulled the ether from her,
well,
it's just perfect levels for human beings.
I don't know. It just confused me.
I just think that
it was a class M
Listen,
planet.
I'm gonna bring it. If I may, just in
How
10
could you
seconds.
I want to find the flaw in this space breathing.
My
Right?
thing with the movie is that all 9 realms were coming together, and that there were certain points. So maybe oxygen from Earth. I'm breaking it down. No, maybe oxygen from Earth.
I'm with you.
When
I'm
she
listening.
stepped into
I'm
that
listening.
one other realm
Sure.
where the little ether rock
a
was.
pocket. Like,
yeah, it was a little pocket because they were dropping everything. Dude, I'm breaking it down.
Have you ever farted before? Because I have, and when I fart, it goes up in the air. You don't smell it after a couple
I
seconds.
don't know. I've never had a.
And I feel like oxygen would go up way faster.
I've never been in a merging of the 9 realms before, so I don't know what the atmospheric content would be.
The science is sound.
It does make sense. That's all I'm saying. But that part,
Physics
right
don't play into this, though, right? There's no physics.
What do you mean?
There's no physics.
I think it's a safe bet to say that it seemed like those planets all had oxygen. I love the fact that we're just getting into this.
Hey, but that was I killed that, right?
But
I killed that.
but we also see the planes fly into the other planet.
Yes.
And their engines and stuff, which are
Yes.
oxygen combustible, and they seem to be working fine in there too. So I don't think it's that much of a reach. That
So do you
maybe
You're a
think?
nerdy
Do you
dude.
think? Do you think every plane in the 9 worlds they all breathe oxygen? Because they all seem to be translating from each one to each one pretty well. The Frost Giants come over to Asgard. The Asgardians go down to there. I don't care if you're a god or not. You got to breathe.
I think that's a safe bet.
I'm going to break it down right now. I'm sorry. I have to interject. I worked on an aircraft carrier. First of all, aircraft, like planes like F-22s, F-18s, they work off of liquid oxygen as fuel, and they all have liquid oxygen as oxygen. So for them to fly in I believe that since they function off liquid oxygen, they don't function off air, that for them to fly into another realm, since liquid nitrogen is their fuel, they could still function. You know what I mean? I've seen it.
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is the time probably to get into if these things can
Why
fly in a
not?
place without oxygen. Because I don't know. Because
I already explained the oxygen of
You have to definitely have.
there must be some sort of atmospheric
Yeah, you
thing.
can't just be like directing your
so-
plane and like avoid.
So, but I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know.
one more explanation on the Thor movie is that it was a Disney movie too. If you paid attention, it was the lowly girl rescued by the prince, the typical Disney movie. So if you are paying attention to the merger of the Marvel Disney brands, that is, I mean, you
I don't
see
know
it
if that's fair to say though, because that's more of the structure of storytelling in general. And even with
Yeah.
Thor, he's been more. He doesn't really have a story. When I think of Thor, I think of the Avengers fighting a bad guy, and they're all getting their butts kicked, and they're all on the ground. And next thing you see is the lightning bolt go across the page, and then Thor shows up, and everyone's like, "Okay, we're good now."
Sir,
Like,
Matt,
all right,
you
we
know,
got this. The
Matt,
goal's
ask
here.
you.
But in a Spider-Man aspect, Spider-Man can drive that story because of his dialogue and what he's talking about and his inner demons and blah blah blah. But Thor doesn't have all that stuff. He's a mama and daddy's boy. He grew up the prince. He comes to here. He's still an elite. There's no. Oh, I feel bad for this character. I can get. I can connect with this character. It's all about Thor all the time. So when he comes in, it's boom, boom, boom.
You
He
identify
smacks
with
people.
Thor, don't you?
No, not at all.
Are you sure?
He's a Spidey guy.
I'm a Spidey guy.
You have more of a Thor personality, though.
I think I'm more of a Peter Parker.
I think you're more of a Norman Osborn.
Oh,
What a
sis.
terrible thing to say to
Wow.
somebody.
Simple thing to
Dude,
say.
Norman Osborn is dope.
Don't try to justify
Did you
that.
not hear me say? Did you not hear me say earlier in the podcast?
Norman Osborn is my mortal enemy.
Well, listen. No. Theo is more Peter Parker than you.
I cannot agree with that.
I agree with it, dude,
I don't agree with
wholeheartedly.
it.
You are way more Norman Osborn. Norman Osborn is dope because I already said that the last good thing that Marvel put out was Dark Reign Siege. That was Norman Osborn at his pinnacle, and he outdid Doctor Doom for me. He punked Doctor Doom. He punked
I want
Loki.
Doctor
He
Doom to
did
defeat
everything.
me because he's Doom and I'm happiness.
Listen, Doom is dope.
To all you Rise
but
Comics fans, I'm a Peter Parker. I am not a bad guy like Norman Osborn.
you're not a bad guy, but you're.
Okay, guys, we're running out of time today, and we got a lot to talk about, obviously. And you guys can see that we can get into any topic at any time about anything. I want to thank the amazing, beautiful Miss Charlotte Parker. I would definitely check out
Yay.
ogiku.com. It's a great website. Definitely check out Miss Char's her fan page on Facebook. You can see all the cool stuff that she has on there. And until next time, we are the Nerdiacs signing out. I am Ryan Haggerty of Ryan's Comics.
I'm Adrian Murphy, Prophet
Yeah.
Alpha.
And I'm Theo Brown. Just Theo.
Thank you. Good night.